welcome. Today we're continuing the Gintama journey with the next mini arc, which is from episode 69 to 71. So I don't know anything at all about this next mini arc. Nothing about the characters or the story, the content. But I do know that I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you are as well. As always, if you enjoy the content I'm making and you want to support this channel and me, you can head over to my Patreon. Link is in the description down below. You can also join the Discord server if you want to talk or hang out. Subscribe if you want to see more. So let's get into episode 69. Okay, that was very interesting. A very interesting premise for this mini arc. Because with this kind of premise about robots, and it's also, so far it appears like a conspiracy thing about the company, kind of shady and secretive, which I really enjoy. There's a lot you can do with that. And I'm really looking forward to how is this all gonna play out. Yeah, but first about, I think her name is Marie, the talking head only, well, for now, the rest of her body is somewhere. We don't know. That's the thing. We don't really know a lot of things about her origin, the whole company that makes those robots, the robots themselves, how they work, how do they function. So many questions, and that makes it so intriguing and exciting. Marie is such a cool character. As I said, I find her really funny. Her dry humor is what makes her so, yeah, just so cool. Later in the episode, we see her cry in context with her maker, I guess, the scientist, forgot his name, but apparently he died. The company and the company that belonged to the robots that belong to the company all say without a doubt that it was her. She killed him for whatever reason. But fact is that he's dead now. And we don't know really the background, the context of it all. What really occurred when the scientist died, when the doctor died. So we can only speculate. Was it really her? And if she did it, for what reason? I am pretty certain that either she didn't do it and she's getting blamed, so everything's kind of hushed up because there are some wrongdoings, some things going on in that factory company that are illegal, dangerous. That's what I'm thinking. Well, either she didn't kill him or she did, but it was for a good reason. Because from what I can tell, she's not really one to kill her maker out of just because she's evil. I don't think that's what she would do, or that's who she is. But you can never say, because there might be some programming going on that made her do it somehow, some way. I don't know. There's so many uncertainties that I can't say anything for sure. But what I can say for sure is that her crying within the context of her her memory. She lost her memory, but her maker is someone she does remember. But everything that happened before she was found by our 3 friends is just gone. Of course, it had to be that way. It had to be that way. But I've got nothing against it. But seeing her cry, that really caught me off guard. Of course, you would not expect that with robots. And that is where this very interesting central theme, I think, of this mini arc comes in, which is what makes us human. Because in that moment, and even before, her dry humor makes her very natural, authentic, even human, as I said. And then seeing her crying, you can really empathize with her. The newer models of robots, as we've seen, they said that she has something that she shouldn't have, that belongs to the company, and somehow it is connected to her humanity, her tears, if I understood that correctly. Yeah, what is that thing? I have no clue, actually. Like, not at all. But I also don't want to speculate. I'm just gonna go with the flow, see where all of this leads. And yeah. Also, the newest model, the one with the pretty kawaii face, man, she is scaring me. She is so terrifying. She always has that smile and that bright face, always looking happy. But in truth, and you can see that, that's not a real smile. Behind that smile, there's something evil. And that evil, it's an evil smile. It just gives you the shivers. I don't like her at all. Same with the other models. Yeah, just very uncomfortable. So yeah, let's see where this is going. Let's get into episode 70. Man, this episode was so packed with information and backstory. At some points, I didn't really know what was going on, but now we've got the bigger picture and everything's more clear. Yeah, wow. That was a really good episode. So I'm pretty sure that, yeah, almost 100% sure that Fuyo is the girl from the Kappa story. From episode, what was it, 20 something? Man. And now we're at episode 70. Even though I do not upload that regularly, which I should, and I will try to, I promise, and I'm really sorry about that. But even though it wasn't that regularly, we've come such a long way in this journey, and yeah, kind of makes me sad, but also excited for the future. Yeah, that's just the way it is. You just gotta enjoy the journey while it lasts. Because if you don't, you're gonna regret it. But yeah, back to the episode. So she is from that Kappa story, the sick girl. The thing is, her father was seeking for ways for her to not be alone, which is very commendable. Very, yeah. It just shows that he was a true father. He cared about his daughter very deeply. But the thing is, while he was researching, experimenting with all those robots and himself, she did find, at least for a while, someone who she could talk to, who would listen to her, who she could have, yeah, just hang out with, fun with. And that meant so much to her. I mean, if you're bedridden, sick, there's just so much you can do. And to have someone to talk to, that is such a great gift in that situation, I think. So the Kappa was truly like, I think like an angel for her. Simply because of the fact that he was there for her and he listened. Yeah. All of this experimenting, all of this research evolved into this huge chaos, this huge mess. And yeah, apparently it's not really him anymore in that robot body. His personality vanished. I think there's gonna be a point in the next episode, which is the ending of this mini arc, where he's gonna be confronted and his true self, his true personality of the Doctor has to arise again. So I think there's a bit left of him in that robot mind and body. He's not completely vanished. But as things are right now, this is a huge mess. And it just goes to show that fanaticism and trying so hard to achieve something, having the right goal, is not always synonymous with it being something good. Like in this example, he has the right thing in mind. His daughter, having company, having someone to talk to, but this radical evolution of this whole thing, now he's trying to turn everybody into robots. All of it just got out of hand. That again reminds me of Takasugi. Because I've talked about that topic in detail also in the Benizakura arc, where he has the right goal as Katsura, for example, but they have different paths that they take to get there. And this is the exact same thing. He is taking a path that leads to destruction, chaos, people being killed. And the spirit of his daughter also being killed with what he is doing. So yeah, this whole thing has to stop. This is never something that his daughter would have wished for. I cannot imagine that would never happen. Now, just about the things that Gin said before the power went down. That was really funny, turning that very profound and deep moment into a comedic one. Sometimes it's not justified, but in that moment it just fit. I don't know. It was it was so funny. But yeah, the something that, well, it's not something. It's not a thing that connects us all as living beings, not just humans, but yeah, everything. Which in spirituality is argued to be consciousness or God, but not God as an entity, separate entity that created all living things, not as a person, as someone, but as, well, consciousness. It is not bound to anything, not the body, not it's not, it doesn't reside in the brain. It's intangible, transient. It's, yeah, it's not something, it's nothing, no thing. Consciousness, a very, this is the central philosophy of spirituality, consciousness, who we are truly. Yeah, and that is something I will talk about more in the future, and not just in one video, because it is a central part of meditation. Yeah. Okay, really enjoyed this episode. Let's get into episode 71. Man, that was so good. This is definitely one of my favorite mini arcs so far. There were some great moments in this episode. Her sacrifice at the end was really emotional. Yeah, just in general, a very emotional episode. And when they were talking about human emotions, I almost teared up. That was so, as I also said in the reaction, so beautiful, so well put, so well said. Everything they said there, just amazing. I also liked how we saw her perception of experiencing the emotion of, well, sadness and a kind of depression also, from her perspective for the first time. And then when you're experiencing that for the first time, you don't really know what to make of it, how to translate that into words. And she said something along the lines of, I can't bear this feeling. It feels like I want to run away from it, or just run away in general. Like I want to escape. And that made me think, because that is something every human, that is their natural reaction to uncomfortable feelings, emotions, to distract themselves or get away. Just put something between that emotion and themselves, so that they don't have to feel it, that they don't have to experience it. But exactly that action, or that thought process, that mindset, keeps that feeling very intense, very cloudy. It's not seen clearly as it really is, for what it really is. Putting a label on it, trying to get away from it, that all creates separation between yourself and the feeling. And separation eventually always, or ultimately always, ends in conflict. So you are in conflict with those emotions you don't want to feel. And that makes them stronger, more uncomfortable. And that's a vicious cycle. And many people can't get out of it. And trust me, I know, because I've been there. In some ways still am. And it's not easy. For some people there's one kind of emotion or mindset that kind of haunts them for the majority of their life, or that impacts them so much they just can't get away from it or get rid of it. But the only way to get rid of something you don't want to feel or don't want to think is to go through it. For example, with fear or anxiety or sadness or, well, even depression in a way. Because depression, even though it may feel like something more than an emotion, is a very intense and deep emotion that lasts very long. I don't want to get too much into depression. I'm going to talk about that in another video. Also anxiety, all that kind of stuff. But allowing yourself to experience it as it really is, in that very moment of it arising, it being there. Going so deeply into it, feeling it so deeply that there cannot be any kind of separation between you and the feeling. There can be no one that experiences the feeling, and there can be no feeling to be experienced. That can be so powerful. It can transform that feeling that was before so uncomfortable, so unbearable, something that you could not face. But by facing it and not trying to get rid of it or try to do something to it, but simply to see it, to experience it, to feel it, that alone transforms it into peace and happiness. So I can only advise you to at least try it. Well, if you only do it once, it's not gonna make that much of a difference. It's gonna make some difference. But you have to be willing to be open to experience that feeling. If every ounce of you says, no, I can't, then you have to work on that. But if there's some kind of openness, then let yourself drop into that completely, fully, and see what happens. See what remains of this uncomfortable, unbearable feeling. I've been a bit off track, a bit too much rambling, but I think that was very necessary for me to talk about, because that is such an important topic for so many people. And yeah, I'm gonna talk about that in the future again, so don't worry. Yeah, what can I say more? Yeah, her sacrifice was beautiful. The fact that she kind of adapted the code of samurai, that Shin actually communicated to her. Those words had so much impact that they stayed with her. They made her reflect. And for a robot to reflect, that is something very human. self-reflection. I think very few animals are capable of it to some extent, but usually only humans are able to really do that, to self-reflect. She did that. She was so amazed by those words Shin said. And I mean, come on. Give some love to my boy Shin, okay? He deserves more. He has his moments, yes, and I do really appreciate those moments, but they're just always in bits and pieces here and there. It's not really consistent. Shin is like the third wheel. Is that how you say it? The third wheel. Yeah, he's always a bit neglected, I feel. So seeing that was really nice. Give some love to my boy Shin. Also, the death of the doctor, her father, was also really touching. And I think you could see at the very end when his face appeared, his true face, he was happy. And all of that chaos that ensued, and the selfishness they were talking about, that he wasn't really doing it for his daughter. He didn't really... Yeah, it wasn't really in his interest to do it for his daughter, but for himself. All of the things he has done. And that is true. I agree with that. But I think in the very beginning, when she was still alive, and even when she died, he did truly care. And he did truly want it for her, not for himself. I mean, of course, he was lonely as well. So there is some selfishness to it. But that is only natural. That is also justifiable. That is totally okay. Then when his personality vanished more and more, I think that was the point where that kind of devolved into an egotistical pursuit. Yeah, that was a really good mini arc. Yeah, that was nice. I hope you enjoyed it as well. And if you did, leave a like, comment down below what you think. Always interested in your opinion. Subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care and bye.